Welcome to Right Fit Leader, a podcast from Alec Broadfoot and the Hire with Confidence team at Vision Spark. This is where visionaries, entrepreneurs, and leaders learn how to hire leaders, lead better, and build teams that last. Through expert insights, real client stories, and conversations with top leaders, you will hear how we find A players for your business. This is Right Fit Leader.
Welcome back to the Right Fit Leader podcast, where we explore how visionaries can elevate their leadership, surround themselves with the right people, and scale their companies without losing the culture and core values they matter most. I'm your host, Alec Broadfoot, and today we welcome someone who deeply understands the power of clarity, wisdom sharing, and scaling what makes companies truly exceptional. Today we have Jill Young, who's been an EOS Implementer since 2014. I think we've been friends for 10 years. We've known each other in the EOS community for a long time, a strategic coach. We've collaborated a few times with clients. And I think what I love about you the most is that we really talk about like thinking tools and psychology and how we can be better leaders. Jill, you've written 3 books, which I've read them all, and they're amazing books. And I know you absolutely love coaching, from coaching businesses and people, individuals. So welcome, Jill.
Alec, I'm so excited to be here today. As I prepared for this, I was so excited because I get to have a conversation with you. And the only difference between our whatever regular conversations are and this conversation is it's just being recorded. That's it. That's it. So I always love to geek out with you on leadership topics and life topics. The topics of the heart, the topics of the mind, friendships, collaborations, connections, like all those things. And then sometimes you and I get to also serve clients together as a bonus.
That's right. That's right.
So I'm excited to dig into leadership today.
Yes, we're going to have a lot of fun. And I know what's deep in your heart is what you call the magic of coaching. What does that mean?
Thank you. Well, thank you for that question. I love this phrase that until the question is asked, the answer doesn't exist. So every time somebody asks me about what is the magic of coaching, I feel like I get this opportunity to answer it in the way that it wants to be answered right now. Like right now, present moment, what is the magic of coaching? I am in the middle of several agreements with leaders right now. And what I am witnessing in them is just nothing short of magic. There are leaders who've brought me sticky, tricky, like this will never be solved. How could I ever solve this thing? And within days, they're Marco Poloing me or texting me, or we're jumping on a call to where like their whole entire life transformed. And do I look at that and go, that was me? No, I look at that and I'm like, that is, I'm not going to use the swear words. That is freaking magic. To have a human being transform and I get to be in the room where it happens is just nothing short of magic. So it's aha moments, it's mindset shifts, it's life shifts of absolute, we couldn't think of any way we could ever solve this. And it's this tight little bubble to like a complete transformation. And I'm happy to share some stories, but it's just the magic of human transformation. It's the joyful awakening of the human spirit. And I get to be in the room where it happens. So that's the magic of coaching right now.
And I've always believed in having like a business coach, having an EOS implementer. Companies that we serve run an EOS, and I've just seen them transform. Our company has transformed since running an EOS. We have a wonderful EOS implementer. So there's that business coaching, and then there's personal coaching, which for years I thought I didn't need any personal coaching. Like, and I came across I experienced something really difficult on the personal side, and very difficult. The most difficult thing I've ever experienced. And I decide to hire a coach who I introduce you to. She's a great coach, Jen Gilman, by the way.
Yeah.
And I knew where I wanted to go, but I couldn't get there. And Jill just helped me tremendously, guide me. And, without her coaching, I probably would not be here today. And so should visionaries, entrepreneurs, leaders have coaches?
Well, so I'm just going to answer with a story. There was a woman that hired me to be her coach to get from point A to point B. Promotion. I need to grow. I want to expand. There's something that's holding me back from getting from point A to point B, this big promotion. And as we started working together, we started to just kind of get into her soul, into her energy, into like how she wants to show up in life. And we would be going through this, and and it was a very she hired me to be a very businessy like executive coach. Okay, that's such a funny word anyway. And we were working on life stuff and her energy stuff. And then she would pause. She's going and it's working, and she'd go, whoa, is this what we're supposed to be doing? Because we were working on this life stuff. And I remember sharing with her that, we think that life and business are separate, and they're just not. They're just not separate. And the things that we were unpacking that were holding her back from her what I call a goal, like in the business world, were actually not. She didn't have to learn anything. She didn't need to be smarter. She didn't need to read another book, get another degree. It was this other side. It was this life side of her energy and her soul. And one thing that we experienced was when she shifted her energy from what she thought everybody wanted her to be, what she thought she needed to be to reach these goals. I don't even like to use the phrase all of the sudden, because it just feels like it can't be true. But it was literally true. All of the sudden, this seat opened up in this company, and you know all about seats, and we know all about the right leader for the right seat. This seat opened up in this company that she had designed for herself, but she didn't even have anything to do with that, in air quotes. She just shifted her energy, and somebody asked her, "Hey, will you please fill this seat?" And it was like it was magic. So should we have coaches? Should leaders have coaches? Well, it's kind of a no-duh thing. If you want to live your best life, there's so much inside of you that possibly you can't see, but it's already there. We're not making stuff up. At the beginning of this podcast, Alec, you said, please show up as Jill Young. I'm like, I have no choice but to show up as Jill Young. Yeah. And that's the work that we do in coaching, just showing up as your authentic self. It's almost like hitting the easy button or taking a shortcut. Getting coaching is a, best kept secret that's not even a secret.
So there are really good coaches out there, and there's also a lot of coaches out there. Like it seems to be it's a very easy barrier to entry to start a career as a coach, and so there's lots of coaches out there. How does someone choose a coach and know who's a good coach from an average coach?
Well, first I want to just talk a little bit about there are a lot of coaches out there. And there are a lot of different types of coaches out there. And my soul applauds all of that. I feel like in my core, in my center, I want for the whole entire world for every single person to have a coach. Every single person to have a coach. And this doesn't even mean that they have a professional coach. But how about, what if your best friend had coaching skills? Like, wouldn't that be cool? That your best friend comes to you and says, oh my gosh, I had or you go to your best friend and you're like, I had a rough day. This person is pissing me off. And for your best friend to say more about that. Or I'm having a hard time with this, and this situation is really sticky. And for your best friend to say, where is the gift in that? How is that making you grow? Where is the opportunity for growth? Instead of, you're right, man, that's the worst thing that could ever happen to anybody, and jump in the pool with you. So, yeah, there are a lot of coaches out there. And I'm like, wonderful. People are feeling called to coaching, probably because they really want to help. They really want to serve. So yes. And then how do you find the right fit coach for you? Ask around. The best coaches will absolutely spend time with you and just start coaching. And then if you feel a connection to that and that style, and you feel better, you feel more expansive after you've spent time with that coach, then jump in. I'm not a big fan of you have to have the degrees or the certifications. Like, if I'm having a level 1 issue, whatever that means to you, I'm going to be served really well by someone who's already had that level 1 issue, even if it was 6 months ago. So is there a loving human being willing to sit with you? It's like, oh, lovely. Start there.
Yeah. And I kind of asked around myself, and I started talking to people, leaders that I admire and respected. And one of my friends, I saw her really transform, and I asked her, I said, what's going on? She's like, well, I have a really good coach. And I said, well, tell me more about that. And that's how she introduced me to Jen, and I've sent Jen a few referrals just because of how she's helped me. Yes. So I want to
magic. That's the magic part.
That's the magic of coaching.
Show up. One of my favorite phrases is show up, be magic. And that's like just you showing up in your authenticity of, hey, I'm seeing this, and you asking the question. Like, those are the right coaches are gonna find themselves to you, and you're gonna find yourself to the right coach.
Yeah, I love it. I want to talk about the law of the lid. Okay, so this is a concept that John Maxwell talks about, and so the definition of this is it's the leadership's ability determines a person's level of effectiveness. So the lower an individual ability to lead, the lower the lid on their potential success. So we're talking about coaching, and we have leaders who have hit a ceiling, and it's really limiting their personal growth, but also their organization's growth. Yeah. So tell me your thoughts on this whole concept of the law of the lid, and how coaching can help leaders increase that or elevate their lid.
This is so interesting. I'm having such an interesting feeling in my body right now, because it's not fear, but the words that are wanting to come out of my mouth are a warning, like based in like, hey, if we don't do this, then this is what's going to happen. And rarely do I lead with that. So this is an interesting feeling, but I'm going to do it because this is what's coming through. It's let's call it like a knock on the door for leaders. Okay. Something is knocking at your door, and here's what it is. When I'm coaching people who are in growth mode, just like you witnessed in your friend, Alec, you said, hey, something has shifted in you. Just like the experience I shared with you of my client, that her energy shifted, and here's this opportunity. Here's what I'm seeing. People in my session rooms, in my coaching rooms, in Coaching Magic, coaches who are engaged in the highest level of expansion, okay, which is the awakening of the human spirit. They are expanding. Their leadership is growing. They're opening. Their minds are opening. They're having these shifts. They are in these containers of capitalism, of businesses. They are working in companies. They're working with clients. They're in here. And when they shift, I think I have like 4 or 5 examples right now. When they shift, they're looking around going, wait, am I in the right container for me to continue growing? And sometimes they look around and they go, oh no, I am not being tutored, taken care of, led in the right container. And their first thought is to leave. Do I need to go find another job? Now, a lot of times I kind of like the, hey, have we extracted all of the value out of this experience first? So my sons are doing this right now. One of them expanded and he's like, I'm not in the right company. And he opened up his own business. Another one right now is expanding, having these big growth moments. He's like, nope, I want to switch industries. So as humans, we will look for the easiest way from point A to point B. And sometimes we're like, this is feeling tight and I'm going to go. Now, Alec, I know what you do is you're like looking for those people. You're like, yes, you want to expand and grow. I can put you into this other lovely company. But leaders, if you're listening to this podcast, are you providing a space? Are you continually expanding your leadership capacity to hold all of this up and coming leadership capacity of your people? Maybe you've spent money, time, and effort on finding the right fit leader. And you're like, oh, great. We have Allison now. Okay, guess what? If Allison is the right fit leader, she's going to want to continue growing. So are you continuing your growth? And the right fit leaders that I coach, they're continually doing this. But when you hit a ceiling and you're like, oh, I'm good, I'm done now, Allison's going to do it for us. Yeah, you've just hired Allison. She wants to continue to grow. So are you continuing to grow? So it feels like a cautionary tale of someone tapping you on the shoulder saying, what are you doing to continue creating this space, providing this space for these amazing humans to continue to grow? That's my first take on this lid of leadership.
Yeah. And I think our job as visionaries is to continually elevate our lid. Like we continue need to get better at being better leaders, and we'll attract better leaders when we get better, but also to invest in our leaders on our team and to help them grow and raise their lid. And rock stars, they'll leave if they're not being developed and nurtured and coached and having new challenges. So now you've seen a lot of leaders over the years, 750 sessions as EOS implementers.
And 1,000 now.
1,000. Oh, wow. Over 1,000.
In
Wow.
fact, I think I like to say it's over 1,111. 1,111. I like a lot of 11.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, and I've seen this too, as we help visionaries hire great leaders. I've seen visionaries really tolerate poor leaders for a long time. And they, and something that I actually help coach them through is, I'm stuck and I want to take my company from point A to point B, but I can't because this leader is not doing what I want to do. And I see these leaders, these visionaries are very loyal. They just love people. And they have a hard time making that decision. They've invested in this person. They're not able to elevate their performance. If we are using EOS terms, they don't really GWC the role. Maybe they get it. They definitely want it, but they don't have that capacity. Yeah. And so, how do you help leaders who are in this decision? Like, what do I do? Because I love this person. I've invested in them, but they are not able to take my business to the next level.
I have 3 things that are coming to me that I've used really useful with visionaries like this, with leaders, integrators who they're noticing that they have this leadership lid. The first one is to get them a coach if they want it. So in How to Be a Great Boss workshop, in the book, we say, hey, you can be a great boss if you want to be great. So sometimes the company has just grown so fast. Sometimes they were a great leader for this size of a company and it's time for them to increase their leadership capacity. So have we given them the resources or the chance to take advantage of the resources? Um, it's so lovely when a human can grow with a company, and there's so much there that they have. And so are we giving them the chance to continue to grow with the company? So do they have the coaching, the tools, the resources if they want them? We're never going to be able to force it on people, for sure. So that's the first one. The second one has been really useful too when I ask a leader who sees their team has a leadership capacity is, where have you increased your leadership capacity? A lot of times leaders will come to me and say, what am I going to do with Joe? What am I going to do with Alice? What am I going to do with this? And I call that coaching the ghost. So that's where, if I'm talking to that leader and I'm like, well, do this with Alice and this with Joe and this with, that doesn't work. This is me as the coach really digging into that leader and saying, hey, where are you holding them back? Where have you not delegated? Where have you not let go? Where have you not created an opening or a bigger future? Are you emailing them frantic on Sunday night? Where is this and where is that about all the execution stuff? Well, then that's where they're going to spend their time. Or have you called them forth to be to increase in their capacity? So there's something else that we can think of. And then the other one is sometimes leaders who are hesitant to just move on from a wrong fit leader. If we've tried that, if we've done that, they feel like they're going to be inflicting pain on this person to either say, hey, would you like the sales management seat instead of the vice president of revenue, as we're growing? They feel like I'm going to be inflicting pain on this person. But in reality, if this person is the wrong person or in the wrong seat, they are already in pain. They're already in pain. And when this person is already in pain because they're not hitting their numbers or they don't know how to lead or they don't want to lead, all of these things, what we're doing as their leader is we're creating a space where suffering is welcome and where suffering can live. Oh, wow. And that energy of suffering, I have not seen a company grow quickly and with love and spirit and magic. I've not seen a company grow like that. I've seen it grow with fear and blame and shame and, well, you better do this or else, threats. I don't want to be a part of that company, and neither do these right fit leaders that are expanding their leadership capacity intentionally. They don't want to be a part of that either. So you're not inflicting pain. You're just creating a space where suffering is invited to live and release people from their suffering.
And I have a client who has a really good integrator, and this integrator is a wonderful coach to his leadership team, really invests in them and guides them and grows them. And I've seen this integrator he just has a lot of love for his team members. And he has one person on his team that is really struggling in his role. And so this integrator over the years has coached him and developed him, really, guided him and shown him the path. And it's almost like nice micromanaging, right? It's just like guiding. And this integrator was really struggling with it. And I asked him this question: if you were to leave the organization for a month, what would happen to that leader's department? And he's like, oh my, it would crash. It would not do well at all. And so even this integrator has had a blind spot that he's done everything. He's coached this person, he's guided them, he spent years. We've talked about the 2x2, the rat stars, puppies, and terrorists. Well, this person's been a puppy for most of his career. And, when I asked him this question, he's like, oh, you are absolutely right. I've guided this person too long, and it's really impacting our company to scale as a whole.
Mhm.
He was a great leader when the department was small, but now that the department is larger, he's no longer a great leader.
Mhm.
And I've just seen a lot, especially in the EOS community, where we focus on core values, where our heart gets in the way of what's best for the business. And that you talked about that, Jill, like that individual who is struggling in the role, that's pain on them, and they're not happy.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Um,
Mhm.
it- I'm glad you brought up that fun 2x2 because I use it a lot.
Mhm.
It seems to cause a real mindset shift in leaders. Um, when I describe it, these puppies growing up to be stars, we need that to occur. And some leaders, again, really core values aligned, some leaders get really addicted to taking care of a beautiful pack of puppies. Because how fun is that? Right? We get to play with the puppies and cuddle with the puppies, and there's fun little toys. We see them, we like to train puppies because we see lots of growth. And then when a puppy grows up to be a star, we're like, oh no, oh wait, don't leave my nest. Let me keep you over here and
Mhm.
coddle you as a puppy. And they have had big shifts of like, oh my gosh, I cannot run a company full of puppies. I can't run a department full of puppies. I can't run a leadership team full of puppies. I've even had leaders say things to me like, oh, they're not ready for that. I'm going to wait to see when they're ready for this next level of training. And I'm like, no, that is bull crap. You are not waiting to see. You are really loving coddling this puppy. You got to
Mhm.
throw him a challenge, push him a little bit, more like a bird, push the bird out of the nest. You got to let it fly. It's not meant to be a nest.
What are, we talked about GWC.
Yeah.
What are, is there a way for someone to recognize that a leader on their team doesn't have the capacity to lead that department or
Mm,
help scale that department? Is there a way that a leader can recognize that?
yeah. There's a lovely quote.
Mhm.
The first time I heard it, I was a young EOS implementer, and Sue Hawkes said it. Sue Hawkes is my co-author of the Issues book. So I've been able to hang out with her for like a whole year. It's been great. And she said, you're a leader when you have trained a leader who can lead others. And she said it's something different like that. You're a leader when, anyway, but I think we get it. And so for a quick way is if you're leading a leader, look at the people they're leading. Are those people growing? Are those people hitting their numbers? So if we talk about a sales manager, um, I know, sales is interesting these days. And so we need really great sales managers. Well, if
Mhm.
they are getting good results out of the sales people, if those people are hitting their numbers, if those people are right people, it's like, yeah, that's good. If you're not, like, look at the data. Look at the
Mhm.
data. If you're not getting those results, that's a really great indicator that you're just not as effective. Alec, I bet you have thousands of stories of how just because a company changed their leader, same sales people, but
Mhm.
they changed the sales leader, all of a sudden, whoop, here comes the results. We have lots of stories like that. So look at the results of the people. I have one more that I want to share.
Mhm.
That's okay.
Yeah.
There's this very scientific term that I use with coaches, with leaders, and it's been really, really useful 100% of the time. So I want to share it with your podcast.
Mhm.
So it's like, when do you know that you have someone in a seat that has hit their lid, that has hit their capacity, that doesn't get it, that doesn't want it, whatever? And it's this really scientific term. I have not trademarked it yet, but we'll see if you think it's worth trademarking. You know when you know. And it's, it's kind of
Yeah.
funny. It's kind of funny
Mhm.
at the surface. It's like, Jill, no, that's not the answer we wanted. We wanted, if it's these three things, you've got the wrong person.
Mhm.
But it's this, I do this for leaders and coaches. It's calibrating your intuition.
Mhm.
Intuition, that I know when I know, intuition is pattern recognition outside conscious awareness. So are we really using all of that data that's coming by us, floating by us, a feeling, a
Mhm.
piece of data over here? I read an article over here, and then something, calibrate your intuition. You just know when you know. It might be in the middle of the night. You wake up and you're like, oh, nope, Jill's not right for that seat.
Mhm.
Oh, nope. And when you have that feeling, that's when you go, it's like, okay, let's investigate, let's dig into this. And you use it in lots of different places, this feeling of when you know. But that's the thing that I have found works 100% of the time. When you
Yeah,
know.
and I think a lot of, well, I'd say a lot, but I think often leaders know, they just don't have the courage to
Yeah.
execute that decision,
Thank you.
right?
Thank you. That's
Mhm.
the tough work. And whenever I'm coaching a leader or a coach,
Mhm.
and we have this thing and they're like, oh, they weren't right for the seat anyway. I'm like, awesome. Okay, time out.
Mhm.
Quiet your body, quiet your mind. When did you first know? And
Mm.
take that. Good leaders do this. Go all the way back. When did you first know? And sometimes they'll say, I knew 9 months ago. Great. In this example, yep, I knew 9 months ago. Awesome. What did it feel like? What did it feel like? What came up into your awareness? Memorize that feeling. And now our only job is to recognize the feeling earlier, make a decision closer to when you had the feeling, and just keep calibrating that closer and closer. I think that's probably how
Mm.
we learn anything in life.
Yeah, and we have that TIP assessment, the talent impact
Yeah.
profile, and I know you've seen it, and
Love it.
your clients have used it as well. But it measures someone's learning style, their mental acuity, and oftentimes, I would say 95% of the time, when a leader is struggling with someone in the leadership role, we look at their learning style, their mental
Mm.
acuity, and oftentimes it's on the lower side. And so those leaders, they will use their experience to help them grow based on previous positions, but they do hit that lid and they can't move on. So the company's changing. There's innovation, AI, and they can't get that company from point B to point C,
Mm.
right? And so, but oftentimes it's that mental acuity piece that we can see right there on paper. And so, sometimes it takes leaders to see it on paper, like, oh,
Mm.
this is what I've been feeling all along. This makes
Mm.
sense. So, we've had some clients that have made the right decisions once they've seen that TIP assessment.
Yeah, and it does.
Mhm.
It takes data. I know I was just with my team this week, and they brought me some data, and they brought me some data. And it's like, oh, how did I not see that? Well, this is where we need each other. This is where we need each other, and right back to coaching. Sometimes it's useful to have a coach. You're coaching right now. You're coaching your clients. I love it, and you're using different tools to just help us see what we already know.
Yeah,
We
and
already
that's a great summary of coaching,
know.
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
and I to summarize what we've been talking about today, I think visionary owners really have two choices. They can grow their leaders through coaching and development,
Mm-hmm.
or they can upgrade the team by bringing in stronger leadership.
Yeah. Yep. And then just let's do both, right? Bring in
Mhm.
stronger leadership and keep that coaching going. And we keep expanding that capacity.
Mhm.
It's something that I work with coaches and leaders on every day is I remember when I used to be head coach, I would say to Mark O'Donnell, I'm like, oh my gosh, this seat stretches me every other day. Like every other day I'm stretching. Like oh, here comes another situation. Here comes another situation. And it was just so expansive for me to sit in that seat. It's our lives are our curriculum. And so if we look at our lives as opportunities for expansion, then we're always going to be able to welcome in new people into our space as leaders, as coaches, and they're going to feel comfortable expanding in our energy. And that's our job. Visionaries, leaders, growing companies, growing coaches. We just keep expanding. That's our job.
So our listeners, if they want to find out more about what you do, how do they reach out to you?
So I'm always on LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is really easy. My email is jill@jillyoung.com if you want to have a one-on-one conversation. I do coaching for coaches is what I'm loving right now. I'm also known as a company coach, where I coach several of the leaders inside one company and do their EOS implementation. So I get lots of different perspectives. And then I do individual coaching as well, where I just work with leaders and coaches who are in a shift of sorts, and they appreciate a different mindset on life. So we just unpack that. It's fun.
Jill, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate you having you on the Right Fit Leader podcast.
It was my pleasure. It's always my pleasure to be with people who are expanding and just helping the human spirit awaken. So thank you, Alec.
Thanks for listening to Right Fit Leader, brought to you by Vision Spark. Have questions or ready to hire your right fit leader? Email us at discover@vision-spark.com. Until next time, remember Vision Spark is your go-to partner for finding leaders and building teams.